and welcome to Better Than Mario Brothers, where each episode we dive headfirst down a pipe into cinema's sewer. I am Christmas Chris Bolton. With me, as always, our very own merry Mr. Mark Williams.
Ho, ho, ho.
And yeah, it's Christmas, guys. So this is the first of this year's Double Down Christmas extravaganzas. You know, just like Halloween, we like to pull out all the stops for Christmas, pull all the crackers, if you will, and fuck it, 2020's been a twat, right?
Absolutely.
So we are absolutely doubling down on Christmas this year. So Mark's in his Christmas jumper. I'm not, unfortunately, because you wouldn't be able to see me on my shitty camera, but I have it just here behind me for those of you on video. And I'm instead wearing, this is probably hurting your eyes, I'm wearing my best Christmas shirt. But I made some effort. Right?
I've seen worse.
Yeah. So for those of you not on video, I apologize. Go on YouTube, look at a video. You don't know what you're missing, honestly. Well, apart from some badly shot footage of me, really, is what you're missing. But anyway, I'm in a stupid shirt. Okay. Those of you on audio, there you go. Move on. So the first of our Christmas specials this year, and we had to do something special on Better Than Mario for Christmas. I mean, we love the kind of really so bad they're good films, and every Christmas there are just tons of them that get trotted out. So the one we wanted to do this year, unfortunately we couldn't track down, so maybe that'll be backburnered for next year, but I'm really glad we didn't, because last minute instead we found Jack Frost. Now this isn't the Michael Keaton Jack Frost. That was my first thought, which is how we stumbled across this film. I don't know how I'd forgotten that this film exists, but I had.
Yeah, I was the same, because I when you said Jack Frost, that was the one I thought of as well, was the Michael Keaton one. And when we were talking about it, I thought, that's a fucking horror one as well.
I had totally forgotten about it.
I had too, but I remember seeing this fucking years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, when we came back to it, yeah, we'll dive into it now, but fucking hell.
Now, see,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it years ago. I knew it existed, but somehow this passed me by. It came out in 1997. It was shot earlier than that, I believe, though. I did do a little bit of research, but I didn't write any of it down because I'm a fucking dick. This is why I don't do research, listeners. But it was shot earlier than that, I know. Anyway. We just so happened to stumble across this. It was on Amazon Prime. So for those of you out there who like to watch along, if you don't already own this, it is on Amazon Prime. So you can go and watch it legally. So please do so. Well, I mean, what the fuck? What can we say about this film, really?
Well, I mean, before we go into it, I mean, I've been doing some reading about it, and there's an interview with Michael Cooney, who wrote and directed it. Excuse me. And
in relation to George?
Cooney, not Clooney.
No. Oh, I thought you said Clooney.
In keeping with Christmas, Noel.
Noel, yeah. I mean, I was just about to pull you up on that.
But yeah, so he wrote and directed it, and the first quote, not that he sounds bitter at all, is the reason I had to direct it is we couldn't afford a fucking director.
Well, I read somewhere that apparently this was supposed to have had a budget of about 30 million and be directed by Rennie Harlin.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite funny because the interview goes on to say that there was a Campbell's soup advert, which I remember, which used the same sort of animation, and it had a snowman eating soup and melting from the inside out. Like his heart was thawing and shit. That was all nice soup's supposed to do. And he said that commercial had 3 times the budget of this film.
Wow.
And then went on to say that because he did Identity in 2003, I think it was, with John Cusack, and he said this had less budget than the catering on that film.
Jesus,
not that he's better at all.
One thing I didn't do was dig into what else the director and everything. I kind of fell down a rabbit hole about how this film exists. I mean, it exists the same way that any of these kind of B-movie creature features exist, because somebody was sat around going, okay, what's the most innocent thing you can think of? What is the most innocent possible thing you can think of that we can subvert and use for a horror movie? And somebody just went, hey, don't give our best fucking ideas away. Somebody just went Snowman, and they just ran with it. Now, obviously, we'll get into this as we go through. And some of the reading, it sounds like you've done some of the same reading as me as well. There's some stuff that we'll talk about as we go through as well that's gone on behind the scenes with this film, I think. But to its credit, considering it is a film about a killer snowman, Like this, there's a lot of thought gone into this. They haven't phoned this in at all.
Oh,
Like the
absolutely
writers have really gone to town with this in a way that, well, I mean, I'll save it. I'll save it for final thoughts. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, Jack Frost is a film about a serial killer who is essentially, well, you're not even resurrected, is he? He just turns into a snowman via a freak accident.
It's funny. I mean, it's the whole sort of opening sequence is kind of laughable anyway. You've got this massive truck on the side of which says State Executional Transfer Service. So if you were looking to break somebody out of jail, you'd be really fucking hard pushed to find them with that on the side, wouldn't you? You know, you want to bring somebody from death row, but they're driving through the snow.
Mean, you're fucking straight into the logic on this film. Do you know what? I didn't question one and there is a very specific thing that I should have questioned, and it only came to me about an hour ago when I was in the shower. And I'll get to that when we get to it. But I didn't question the logic in this film once, because honestly, if you think
there's no fucking logic to this.
No, like you can't. Like you just have to go with it.
It just struck me straight away. Because, as I say, it's State Executional Transfer Service. You know where your death row prisoners are for a start. But they're driving, and again, you've got a massive window on this truck, and you can see about fucking 2 inches out of the windscreen. Now,
because of all the snow and stuff.
Yeah, but put some fucking antifreeze on your screen; it won't stick.
Well, maybe they can't afford it. Maybe, I mean, this is Snowman. I don't know if you know this, but Snowmanton is a very poor county, Mark.
Well, yeah, it's only about 3 fucking houses. That's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, you've got that, and then coming the other way, you've got somebody driving. I can't remember what the name was, but it was basically genetic experiment material, driving in the same blizzard, so can't see fuck all, and it's pouring from a flask while he's driving.
I love it.
Be funny. You might as well be on a fucking bong.
I love it. I love everything about the opening of this film. One of the issues though is it does have 2 openings, and that's the only thing.
I forgot about the very first, but
because I really love the first opening. It opens up in a very classical Christmas special kind of way with, we've got the credits while we're sort of zooming around a Christmas tree, and everything's in extreme close up of all the decorations. And there's a father reading to his daughter, who is clearly a voice actress.
I was going to say, really fucking creepy, because that voice is about 50.
Yeah, doing a little girl. Yeah, the voice apparently is the director.
Right.
So I read in on IMDb. I don't know how true that is. But yeah, so they give us the whole story of Jack Frost before he becomes the Snowman, really, of why he's a serial killer, and it sets up everything to the point where we get to where he's in the paddy wagon being transferred. But you get all of his backstory and everything, so you know who he is. That all works really well. It's got Christmas carols in the background. It sets the tone. It's like, this is going to be like a creepy Christmas film. It's very kind of Krampus or Gremlins. They really nailed the tone. It's really well shot. They're like the performances, aside from the fact it's clearly an adult voice actress being a little girl, the performances there are actually really good as well. Loved all of that.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that, because I know, what's like when we do this film, we tend to pick out the stuff that doesn't make sense. So the stuff that works, we tend to kind of gloss past.
Loved that. Okay.
Yeah, the opening was brilliant.
Loved the actual opening as well. Loved the fact we're straight in. Loved the genetic material. Loved how just completely corny, cheesy, doesn't give a fuck it is. The only problem I had with it is it literally rehashes that entire story in expository dialogue.
Yeah, which
right up until the point of the crash. No, you don't need it at all. You need one or the other. Now, is that enough to spoil my enjoyment of the film? Absolutely not. But it's the first point where I'm going, oh, we didn't need that. Now, this is summation on my part. I feel like I have to quantify that every time now after recent events on SMPD. But this is summation on my part. I've read that there was a scene later on, and we'll talk about when we come to it. For here, for the here and now, we'll just refer to it as the bathtub scene. Where they went back for reshoots because of something that came out in the edit. Now, there is a very clear quality difference between those reshoots, the material they reshot, which is very slight. There's a very clear quality difference between that reshoot and the original stuff that we've seen before that. So I wonder if more of this is reshot, and the higher quality stuff which you get here, you get the latter half of the movie essentially feels completely different. Like it absolutely takes off more or less from the bathtub on. It just absolutely takes off. It becomes everything that I'd wanted it to be in the first half of the movie. Not to say I didn't enjoy the first half, but it really gets into its own
Yes.
in the second half of the. And I wonder whether it was a case of, I wonder when 99% of that stuff was there, and then when they did the reshoot, somebody suddenly went, "Oh fucking hell, we can do that. We've worked out how to animate the snowman. We've worked out how to make him talk. We've worked out." So, and whether they've gone back and reshot more stuff, and maybe this was part of that. Maybe somebody's gone back and gone, "Oh, actually, we've got hold of a voice actor here now. Let's
fix a bit.
I don't know. I don't. It might just be that they felt like it was missing something in the opening. They didn't know what to do for credits. I don't know. But we don't need both of them.
No, and I think, to be fair, I mean, what you've got there, so you have the Christmas tree scene with the story, and that's, as I say, aside from the creepy voice lady, that's all right. That's good. And then you get them going through, and you've got the two guards driving the truck, and then one in the back with Jack Frost.
Yeah.
And you've got the ones in the front. It's almost like they're trying to taunt him, but they just don't know what to say to him.
There's a lot of that in the first half of this movie. The one-liners are not on point at all for the film, especially once we really get into the Jack Frost of it all.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, hang on, where are all the snow puns? Like, honestly, he should be quipping like fucking Schwarzenegger in fucking Batman and Robin here.
Yeah,
they should
absolutely.
Be the latter half of the film, you get that, and they are fucking excellent. They're not so much snow puns as they are Christmas ones, but they are on point. Yeah. But the first half of this film, they aren't. And I think maybe it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of, there's actually been a lot of effort put into the story of this film. Like, and we'll get
also in a lot of things we watch, actually.
Yeah, fucking definitely. I was really impressed with the script of this film. Now, whether that says more about me or the film, I don't know, but I was really fucking impressed with the script. But there are occasions, where the dialogue is a little bit ropey. But I just give it a pass. If they can't work out what's saying, whatever. It's moving us forward. The scene is short. I'm just like, okay, they're just going to taunt him. We need to get to the point where the fucking truck crashes and they just get us there. Having said that, when the crash comes as well. Like all the stuff in the back of the truck is well shot to start with as well. Frost is over just the right amount. It's very atmospheric. It's very well lit. The whole film is really, considering it's low budget, like it is really beautifully lit. They use a lot of practicals. I mean, it's Christmas, so there's lights everywhere. So you've obviously got a lot of practicals you can use. But they use the practicals really well. They shoot day for night really well a lot of the time as well. But in this crash scene, and one of the fucking weird things that it says on IMDb in the facts is that apparently the director single-handedly storyboarded every shot of the film. That's not weird enough to deserve an IM, especially not on a low-budget feature. Fuck, I storyboarded every single frame of our film, and I can't draw for shit.
What the fuck was that? Monkey.
I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because it got it's at that point. It's got a sort of cult following, and people forget that it's not a low budget film; it's a no budget film.
Yeah, and so
and people forget that. So people then think, oh well, yeah, you get a storyboard artist in, because that only cost you a couple of grand. But when your budget is a couple of grand, you do that shit.
You draw it yourself.
To be honest, I've seen it elsewhere whereby you don't have storyboards. Someone will go out and take fucking pictures on a phone.
Yeah.
They'll go out and pose it, and they'll take a couple of people with it. So like, you stand there, this is the fucking shot, and they set it up and they shoot it. Because at least
that will probably serve me better. I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah, I was thinking whatever we do next. But yeah, it's just because much like yourself, I can't draw for shit. I like to think I can. I used to love drawing as a kid, but turns out I sort of peaked when I was about 8. And that's about as far as my artistic prowess goes in terms of drawings. So that would serve me as well. But that's a recognised thing where you can't afford a storyboard artist, but you can't draw for shit, so you go out and take pictures. It's a much simpler way of doing it. But yeah, to say right, okay, well, yeah, that's an uncommon thing. No, it's really fucking not in the indies at all.
No,
because if you think we can afford to pay our cast and our crew, we can afford to pay for props. We might need to rent a van. Or we can spunk it all on a storyboard artist.
Yep, and one of the other things I genuinely believe, and look, I would love to work with a good storyboard artist. Never have, because I've never worked with a single storyboard artist. Okay, but I really cannot draw for shit. I cannot stress enough to you how much I would love to be able to sit down and work out some storyboards. But one of the things that does give you, I think, is clarity of vision.
Yeah.
Because everybody's seeing, it's as direct from the director's brain as you can possibly get, and all of this was a long-winded way of me getting to saying how well fucking executed I think this crash is for a low-budget film.
Yeah.
Like, it's really like they really get the kind of frenetic energy and the chaos of the crash across. The way the camera starts spinning, you get the quick cuts between the three characters. What the fuck. And then they smash, everything spins, you get the sound effects, they've sprung for fire. I don't want to know how they managed to light a fire on that set, but that's pretty much what I'm thinking. I doubt it was controlled, but
there's lots of snow around, so it'll be fine. Just pack snow over it.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought, like, I'm already really impressed by this.
Yeah.
I was impressed by the opening. I'm impressed by this scene and the way they handle the whole what the fuck. It is very punk rock. It's very fucking indie cinema.
Yeah, it is. And I think that they've gone out of their way as well. Most productions of this sort of size would go out of the way to try and make that look as fucking polished and as professional as they could, and trying to get as close to the smash as they could. And this one's just going, what? We can't do it. It's not going to look right. So we'll just we'll do it with
find
the
a way around it. Yeah, and
we'll work around it, and it works really, really well. I was
absolutely
saying, I went into this, and I've got to be honest. I went into this film thinking, "Fuck!" I saw this probably about 15 years ago, and haven't really thought about it since, other than thinking, "Fuck me, that was horrible." Coming back to it now, we've got the opening 10 minutes, and I'm like, "Fuck me, why did I hate this?"
I thought it was fucking amazing. So. We get this transformation. Obviously, Jack gets covered in the fucking mutagen or whatever it is, and melts down into the snow. The melting effect on his face was
that was really good.
well. Series of stop motion effects, really, really well. And then out of fucking nowhere, there's this 1960s Rankin and Bass Christmas animation.
Yeah.
For a couple of frames, and this is one of the most disappointing things in the film for me, because it started doing that and I was like, oh, here we go, there's going to be an animated segment, and then it just it was basically to show the snow merging with his cells. I liked it. It was thematically correct, but I would have liked to have seen more of that. But it really made me sit up and fucking take notice. I was like, right, I want more of this. So that's all good. Then Jack gets his first kill and stuff. We now realize he's a snowman. Then we're introduced to our lead, to the sheriff, and we get a bit of a flashback. He's having this thing in the car where he's flashing back to the fact that he's put Jack Frost away, and Jack Frost is going to come back and kill his whole family and stuff. He vows revenge.
Because we've already sort of been introduced in the exposition, haven't we, from the two truck drivers, the two.
We've had everything.
Because they're saying how the FBI chased him across 11 states or something like that, and then fucking Barney Fife caught him by getting lucky, pulling him on traffic or DUI or whatever it was. We
get that in the opening narration as well. We get all of that. So this is the third time of asking that we actually meet this fucking cop. And he flashes back to him actually arresting Jack Frost.
Yes.
Now, this is one of my logic flaws, okay? But as I say, I don't have many, but this is one. On what fucking grounds does the sheriff pull his gun on Jack Frost? Besides the fact he's being a bit shifty, he's just pulled his car over for a piss.
Well, I was going to say, he pulls over, and the thing that got me with it is that Jack Frost, if you do any sort of reading or research about serial killers, they are generally very genial and polite because they don't want to attract attention themselves.
Yeah.
And this guy, he goes from 0 to 100 in about half a second. You get the bit. The sheriff says, "Oh, car trouble. Oh, bladder trouble. Nice. No, it's nice and light. It's a bit breezy. I need to see some ID. Well, what for? 'Cause he's pissing in a bush. Okay, technically public urination, so probably that's an offence. Yeah. So, but then he goes towards the car. Logic would dictate your ID is in your car.
Yeah. Like
so then he pulls his gun. He said, "Oh no, stop where you are." I said, "Do you want me to stop?" And normally, well, do you want me to stop or do you want me to get my ID? Because my ID is in the car. But no, it's make up your goddamn mind. It's like, hang on, what the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, it escalates very fucking
quickly. It escalates very quickly for both of them. And you think, well, hang on. If you're a serial killer who's killed, 38 people, I think it was at this point, and you've just been pulled up for taking a piss in public, you're going to be going out of your way to not be memorable. You want to get a citation, a $50 ticket, and a couple of hours community service, or whatever it is, and get the fuck out of there so you can go back to sticking people in the meat pies.
Yeah, that's it.
That's your logic. You wouldn't know if you're determined not to get caught. Arguing with the sheriff who's just pulled you over for observing you committing a crime you've just admitted to. You don't fucking argue, do you?
No, you absolutely don't. So that was all.
Says me the notorious serial killer, obviously. But
yeah, clearly, I can murder a bowl of Cocoa Pops any fucking day of the week. So
other products are available.
Yeah, I don't even fucking eat Cocoa Pops anymore. I don't know why I reached for Cocoa Pops there. It was the first one that popped in my head. I'm a Crunchy Nut Cornflakes person, or Craze if it's on sale. But no way am I paying £5 for a box of cereal otherwise.
I thought that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a Crunchy Nut Cornflakes kind of guy. I don't know why the fuck I reached for Cocoa Pops then. I haven't eaten Cocoa Pops probably in fucking 15 years. I don't know. They're like, there's no substance to them. They're like little bits of fucking air. Yeah, same as Rice Krispies. Anyway, way off topic.
But so, yeah, it's that logic gap, though, isn't it? No, that whole scene escalated out of nothing.
Yeah,
and for no reason.
And we didn't need it because we've already fucking.
Yeah, we don't need to know how he arrested him. The only thing it does go is that he pulls his gun on him, and he goes to shoot him and misses from like 4 yards, and this becomes a joke later on.
This becomes a running joke, yeah, which unfortunately never goes anywhere. It's not the only thing that doesn't. They land everything else, but I was expecting
it's the only one that. He misses here, and you wonder if it's a fucking warning shot or you moved or whatever it was. But then they double down on it later on. We say, and we'll get when we get to the scene. But a guy he has his gun on outside when he's creeping around outside his house. I could have shot you. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah,
it's like, hang on. Well, okay, fine. If you're making that, but then make that a point. So when you get to the end, it pays off.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't go anywhere, but it doesn't.
I mean, it's decent character work. It's a nice little aspect of his character.
Gives him a flaw, but that's never exploited. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's it.
So then it comes back out of the flashback, and next day we meet the whole family. They're in the kitchen, and this is the first point where it shows itself up to be a low budget production. I think it's clearly low budget earlier, but I think they do really well.
Actually, I've got another logic gap actually as well. Just before we get to that, he's driving. They drive past the wreckage of the accident in the car, and the kid's sticking around in the back, and they tell him to sit down, put your seatbelt on because there's cops around, even though he is a fucking cop. And so he stops in front of somebody in a sheriff's jacket, and he says, "Move along. This is federal business." He's the fucking sheriff. This dude should know him.
Yeah.
He should be able to stop at a roadblock and say, "Son, you work for me. Come over here."
Yeah, exactly. This is happening on his patch. Yeah, good point. Hadn't even clocked that. Just watched over. Maybe that's just because we'd only just been introduced to him, so I was still.
Yeah, but again, it's just that it came back to me later on. So hang on a minute, because you see that deputy later on as well.
Yeah, so that is a bit odd. You're right. So next morning we meet the kid and the wife again in the kitchen. Yeah. The kid's making like this something on the stove. We later find out it's oatmeal. Yeah, we find out it's oatmeal later on, but at this point it just looks like a big fucking.
To be honest, it looks almost like, do you know when you used to make shredded wheat cakes with chocolate and marshmallows and shit in them, like for Easter?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It looks a bit like that sort of nest material. It's not quite melted enough, and it's all still a bit gooey.
That's what I thought it was. I thought he was making some sort of Christmas Rice Krispie treats or some such shit. But anyway, the kid's doing that, making a big old fucking mess. And this is where it shows itself up, I think, as being low budget. Earlier on I was saying how well they handled everything with the effects and how they're thinking around the problems. Yeah. Whereas here, there is every possible camera movement in the space of a scene. We get pans, zooms, anything that isn't expensive, like we don't get any tracks or dollies, but anything you can do by locking a camera off on a tripod and just moving the head. Yeah, we're going to get just to put some movement into the scene. Now, later on, early on, they were confident with that stuff. We didn't have any erroneous camera movement. It was all about the thought of sort of getting the energy of the scene over. And later on, we get that as well. Yeah. But there's this, like I said, it's almost like a film with two halves. And there's this weird bit here where they're just going, just move the camera as much as possible. It'll look expensive. Yeah. No need to. It's well.
Yeah, it looks like we're on a set. It looks like we've got room for a track and a dolly and all the rest.
Yeah,
of it.
Exactly.
It just looks like we've spent a bit of dosh on it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so there's that about it. Then there's this whole scene in the kitchen, which is nice. We get another family. The kid's cooking this oatmeal, and they make a big fucking thing of it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we making a big thing of the oatmeal? Right?
Well, you look at it and you're thinking, you're always looking for no, it's a trope now. You're always what's going on, aren't you? You're always looking for the thing that's going to, and you're thinking, okay, that's fucking oatmeal, or that's no, he's made in food, that's going to pay off, and then again in a couple of scenes time they double down on that.
Well, this is the thing, because at this point I'm just like, oh, it's just a character thing for the kid. Because
the kid's making him breakfast.
So when I first watched through now as this was, it's just washing over me. Other than me looking at it thinking that's gross, and why the fuck the kid could be doing anything? Why is he doing that?
Yeah, he could have been playing fucking computer games or
anything, right? Yeah. Anything. But anyway, he does that, and he puts it very specifically into a fucking sandwich bag, and I'm like, this is all, we're reaching for something here. I don't know what's going on, but anyway. That all happens, washes over me a little bit. Now, then we go down to the main town, to the town square.
Yeah.
You want to talk logic gaps? Where's all the fucking snow gone all of a sudden?
Well, they're making snowmen out of there.
But the road is fucking clear. There's not there's one very specific patch of snow which you see in the wide shot that they're building the snowman on.
I mean,
which
I think what
they seem to have shipped in.
Yeah, they're kind of reaching for the idea. I mean, especially if I'm not sure where this is set. I'm not sure where Snowman is supposed
set
to be.
in Snowmanton,
but I'm not sure what state that's supposed to be in. I mean, I'm looking at some of the houses, but I'm kind of picturing some New England sort of area.
I don't know. It's just Snowmanton County. That's
but
all I know.
I mean, yeah, okay. You would have snow there, and okay, they do plow their roads a fuckload better than we do over here. So they do keep their roads open. So no, it's kind of thing. But generally, it's in 4-foot fucking heaps on the side of the road because they've ploughed it and shoveled, just moved it all to the side so the vehicles can pass. They don't give a fuck where it goes. No. So there are always big fucking piles of it. Now, yes, okay, there are about 10 fucking snowmen built on the side of the road for this competition they have every year. But you're right. There's nowhere near enough fucking snow there to have done that.
No, but the problem is that the snow appears and reappears at random, seemingly, throughout the story.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever. I'll put it to one side.
Yeah. It's not the end
of
of the world. We get the snow when we need it.
The snow when we need it. Yeah. Then we get this great little scene where we're introduced to all of the key cast.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a couple of lines. We get the characters within those few lines. Really, really smart writing. We understand who all these characters are.
Yeah.
We haven't set up sort of the interpersonal relationships with the other characters too much yet, apart from Shannon Elizabeth's character and the dude. We get their relationship set up early on. But the rest of them, we'll come to find out that they've all got their own little, small town problems with each other, and that's all. It's like the characters are great. They really are great. And then we get our first fucking crime scene. Essentially, the sheriff gets called away rapidly. He goes to the office.
He goes to the office, and again, this is where we double down on the food because he goes to chuck it out.
He throws the oatmeal, and then puts it in the car.
And then you get the little voice of the kid going, "I made this especially for you," and he's oh fuck's sake.
Now again, that was one of those moments where you go in like it definitely scans that he's about to throw it in the bin, and then goes, "Oh no, the boy made that," and puts it back in the car.
Yeah,
and that would have washed over me. And as it is, don't get me wrong, this trope absolutely worked on me when we got to the end, okay? Because I had forgotten about the fucking oatmeal.
Yeah.
But it feels like they properly drove it home with that line from the kid. It's like, this oatmeal is going to be important.
Yeah. But I mean, and the thing is, I've not been funny. You've spent years in the fucking car working, it's the same as I have. You don't leave when you go to the office, you don't leave your fucking lunch on the passenger seat.
No, you absolutely don't.
You take it in and stick it in the fridge.
Yep, you definitely do. But nevertheless, it was great. Again, there's something weird with the oatmeal, but then he goes into the office. We meet as far as I'm concerned, the absolute scene stealer, where this fucking film, she is fucking incredible in every scene she's in.
Yes.
Absolutely superb. And again, like, she's good when she's speaking, but most of the time it is her reactions.
Yeah,
she is absolutely fucking amazing, and this scene, our first introduction to her, no exception. Yes. Where he goes in and he goes, "Oh, what? You're not talking to me? What's the matter? Has there been a murder?" And she just
somebody died.
Someone died. Yeah,
it's like shit.
Fucking great. So he goes to investigate the crime scene, and we get this kind of this first talk through what's happening, and there are several points in this film where I swear to God. And I mean this is the highest compliment, right? Because it's almost like it's come out of our fucking brains or something. I can literally see us doing this. And this fucking chairs rocking back and forth. And for about the first 10 seconds of this scene, I'm going, why the fuck is the chair rocking back and forth? And then they say, take your foot off the chair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you got me.
Yeah.
Like I wrote them up for it. I started writing them up in my notes. I was like, hang on, how's the chair rocking?
Yeah.
And then they literally say out loud. So I'm like, okay, shut my mouth, lol.
Yeah.
Like, they played to him. Like, that was funny. I found that really, really funny. That was a nice little meta gag that they just threw in there. And they knew full well what they were doing. They must have.
That's
For
it.
it
And
to
then
pay off.
I mean, that particular scene, that, like, again, there's some nice character work. There's some nice history in there where they're talking about, they always, I can't remember what his name was, but it was his orchard they always can steal apples from as a kid. And then so we get all this, and they're also reminiscing about the fact, the old man, whatever his name was. And then when the sheriff goes off to say he's got to check something, rather than doing the jobs he's given, that he's given, they go, I want some fucking apples, and he goes off into the orchard.
Yeah.
Again, it's just it's just stupid and banal and really fucking funny.
Yeah, it is. Like just the small town banality of it really comes across.
Yeah.
Again, we get told again that the town is Snowman County. Just in case we forgot, we have to absolutely understand that this is Snowman County, because of course it is. Then we get like the lowdown from the doctor. We get the autopsy, and this is really the first point, because as I say, a lot of these things haven't paid off yet. Things like the oatmeal and stuff like that. And okay, we're getting that. We're being introduced to these characters, and you can see that actually, there's some skill at work here. But this is the first point in this autopsy where you actually go, hang on. Somebody's really fucking thought about this. They're taking this really seriously, because, you could easily have gone cause of death unknown, or frozen solid, or frozen with fear, or what. And like totally in a film like this, you accept that.
You take it.
But no, we get a full-on autopsy report. And look, I'm fuck knows if the science is accurate. It's probably not. But we get but it sounds impressive.
I don't care. It works.
Somebody's really fucking thought about it. And then, so that's all good. And that's the first point where you think, hang on, somebody's taking this seriously. Then we go to the police station and we get scene stealer number 2, who I spotted precisely twice in this film. But I reckon if I go back and watch it again, he's in even more scenes. My favorite performance of the whole film, and I'm going to salute him right now, Orange Hat Guy, is amazing. He's absolutely. You see him walk past a shot later on as well, but in the police station, there's like this sort of angry mob of a few people that they could rustle up, and you've just got this one guy in like an orange deer stalker, just staring at the just literally just staring at the map. And then when the sheriff starts sort of breaking down what's happening, he kind of gets out a little notepad and starts making. Like, this is another one of those situations where it's like, whoever this guy is, and he's probably one of the cast or crew, I don't know, but whoever this guy is, he's really thought about his character. Like, he's really this guy really wants to catch the fucking serial killer. Like,
he wants to know what's going on.
Yeah, he's like, he really cares. He's really into this. He doesn't get any lines, but he's really into his character. He's fucking, and of course he's wearing a bright orange hat, so he looks like a complete and utter dick. He's great. He's absolutely great. Then we get our first kind of proper look at Jack Frost, Jack Frost, the Snowman. Now, bone to pick number 1 properly with this film. This Snowman looks nothing like the Snowman on the poster.
Well, no, this was always my real gripe with it, because you'll see it on the artwork for this, and for the sake of the video, I'll probably stick up on screen here as well. But you get this sort of demonic fucking snowman with big green eyes and not really sort of insect with fucking dark skin and jagged teeth, almost like fucking like fucking fangs and shit. None of that. It just looks like fucking Frosty.
Now,
it actually looks like a dude on your jumper.
Yes, it does. It looks like this guy.
Yeah.
Now,
even with a jaunty scarf.
I think I prefer that. Okay, I'm all for that. I think the fact that because it's fucking really bad computer rendered snowman on the cover of the DVD as well. He looks fucking terrible, and this snowman looks, I think, better. He's way goofier as well, which makes it funnier. Like, he looks like your jolly happy soul. Like he's a proper snowman. So it's funnier that he's like this. But
I was going to say it works better because you're expecting from the poster, you're expecting the fucking psycho snowman.
Yeah.
And you don't get it. They don't deliver on that. And you think, oh, hang on, why that doesn't look right. But actually, when you go through the thing, if that thing started strangling people, I'd be far more scared than the one in the poster.
Yeah,
Because the
and
one in
it's
the poster,
also,
you expect it.
yeah, and you see the one in the poster, you think, fuck me. Even as just an inanimate snowman, you're like, fucking hell, I'm giving that a wide berth.
Yeah.
You see this one, and he looks approachable, just like the kid does approach him.
Yeah.
So the kid's sort of playing with him, and then the bullies come along and tell him he's on the fucking black ice sled run, even though it's his fucking front porch.
Yeah, it's his fucking driveway.
Right? And the sheriff's driveway, mind you, as well.
But again, that just goes to show how little the sheriff is thought of in the town, doesn't it? Oh, sorry,
yeah. I guess that. Yeah,
even the kids
tracks.
don't give a fuck, and that pays off later on with Shannon Elizabeth as well.
Yep, that tracks, I guess. So, and then there's this fucking what would appear to be a murder,
but it's a fucking accident.
Right, this is the thing. Okay. So it is technically a murder because the snowman. Fucking
yeah. So they have the argument. Billy knocks the head off the snowman.
Yeah,
and then Snowman trips him up or pushes him. He falls on his ass, and then one of his mates hits him with a sled.
With a sled.
That is what is called a racing accident.
No, exactly. So then when we get to the next scene and Billy's dad is laying into the sheriff, and he's saying, your kid's a murderer and stuff like that, which is way out of order, but okay, he's just lost his son, so you'll go with it. But in what fucking possible world is the son even a culprit? Like, how is that? How is he even fucking a suspect?
There may have been a fight. There may have been a fight, and he may have shoved him.
Yeah,
it's a fucking accident.
He
didn't know the sled was coming.
Yeah,
and he certainly didn't know fucking Billy's head was going to come off.
That's it. Even if he did push Billy, like, it was a freak fucking sled accident. Even if Ryan pushed him under the sled,
yeah,
or in front of the sled, like, nobody could have foreseen what actually happened. Not even Jack Frost knew that was going to happen.
I mean, for the most part, Jack Frost is certainly in the first half of them, he's an instrument of chaos.
Yeah,
he's not there murdering people. He is there to fuck shit up.
Yes, exactly. Now that I have a big problem with that, which we'll talk about when we get onto it later on. But yeah, he's just fucking shit up. He's going gremlins at this point.
Yeah, but the thing that bugged me with it, apart from the fact that you said that that's not fucking murder, is that rather than saying, "Look, yes, okay," what I can't remember what the line was. He said, "I have to believe my son." Well, no, you don't, because your son could be a fucking sociopath. However, let's go with the balance of probability. You've got the snowman shoves him in front onto the ground just as the sled's going to hit him. That's premeditated and really fucking unlikely. What's more likely is let's face it, your fairly reclusive, fairly tender, fairly affectionate, fairly socially outcasted, awkward son got into a fight with some bullies, stood his ground and shoved one out of the way, and it just so happened that dickhead's mate was coming by on a sled at the same time and took his head off. Mm-hmm. That is far more likely than the snowman did it or the effeminate kid did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a fucking accident.
It's a freak accident.
To everybody who didn't see the snowman do it, it's an accident.
Yep, I would agree. But that's not what's happening here. Apparently, the sheriff's son is a murderer. And it sets up some conflict with Billy's dad as well. So it's a freak accident anyway. Then we get some more of the backstory with the sheriff and Jack Frost, because I don't know why all of a sudden he's thinking about Jack Frost again, but he goes, it's just because there's been a murder probably, but he goes inside, pulls out his little souvenir box, and he's got these, like the weird serial killer letters from Jack Frost, where he's cut letters out of magazines.
I'll find a way in.
Yeah. Now, bearing in mind that he knows exactly who Jack Frost is because he arrested him, what is the point in going to all of the effort to cut the letters out of the magazines? Like, it's not like you need to do a forensic analysis of his handwriting to work out who he is. He knows who he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a nice trope, isn't it?
Well, it's exactly that, isn't it? It's so we all know it's a serial killer letter. But I was just looking at it thinking, that's a bit much. We don't need that.
Yeah, he's already threatened you with those words, and you know exactly who he fucking is. There's no point to it whatsoever.
No. Then we go and spend some time with Billy's mother and father.
Yes.
Billy's dad is playing this really fucking well, I think. Like, I think he's fucking excellent. Like, the scene in the house where he's just like, he's up and down like a yo-yo. He's all over the fucking shop. And he would be. He's just lost his son. He doesn't know how to feel, doesn't know how to act, doesn't want to talk to doesn't want
he's
anybody
angry.
telling him what and he's all over the top and he's angry at everything.
Yeah.
And I think his performance is fucking astounding for the film that this is. I'm like, but then there are other instances with him, like earlier on with the sheriff, and like when he goes outside in a minute, where you're just like, hang on, he's fucking terrible. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but he's excellent in this scene.
Yeah, and I think it's like you said earlier. I mean, it does feel like a film of two halves, and you kind of get the impression that where some of it is some of it they've spent a lot of time on, some people they've spent a lot of time with. So as a director working on this is what we're doing, this is what we're going for, and I mean if as the guy said, he's directing it because they couldn't afford to direct it, and I think this is one of his earlier efforts. So he's probably putting a lot more effort in than a lot of directors would doing something like this. Because a lot of directors would be going, "Fuck it, I'm getting paid."
Yeah,
whereas, I mean, it's this is his project, so he's going to believe in it.
I think this first half sort of feels it's got a little bit of like Jaws or Gremlins about it, where it's a little bit of this kind of small town chaos, and it is more about the stories of the people. Yeah, which is great. I enjoy both halves, but they're different things.
Yes,
and it doesn't really feel like the Snowman fits particularly well in this half. Even though there's got to be some sort of monster, because then.
But there's not that much of it, to be honest. I mean, again, it's more of the tell don't show at this point, isn't it? Is that we know we're finding out about Jack Frost, but we're not seeing it. And
now this is this is the thing, is they kind of seem like they want to sort of pull the toffee a little bit in this first half. They're like let's stretch him out, but they've already shown him to us in the sled accident, and they show him to us here as well. So if you want to do that. Let's just it's cheaper as well. Let's see his shadow. Let's see his top hat. Like he hasn't got to put a top hat on him.
They do bits of that, don't they? Because I mean, you get in the scene with the sled with the argument and where Billy dies, you don't see him move as such. You see a twitch. You don't see a full movement. You don't see a full body, and then you do get bits where he's later on where he's outside the sheriff's house where they use the shadow really well.
Yeah,
and they use the POV cam and shit. That's really good.
Yeah,
but at this point, you've already seen him.
Yeah, exactly.
All his glory.
And they should have saved that back, because I feel like when we do, like, this is the first proper reveal of him here with this kill, but they don't animate him at all.
No.
So it's like, I appreciate you want to be cheap, but even if you'd have just done some stop motion or something and moved the facial features around, like, because he's talking. And his quips are awful, but and again, he's shot pretty well. But if you're going to go for this, then go for it.
Yeah.
Now, latter half of the film, they absolutely do. They 100% lean into the fact that this is an animated talking, quipping snowman.
No, I'm wondering. Part of me wonders if they did that because they sort of said, "Look, this is the budget we've got. It's going to cost us this much to do these sequences we need to do."
Yeah.
Have we got any left to do anything earlier on? And the answer is probably not.
This is what I'm saying about it. When it was later revealed to me that they went back for reshoots where somebody actually went, oh, well, maybe we can do a bit more here and a bit more there. And actually now we know how to animate the snowman.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think they just show him to us too early here. They want to stretch it out.
Yeah.
But and they do, all the ingredients are there for them to stretch it out, but they don't. They just blow their load too early.
Yeah.
And that's shame. The snow is all back again. Like there's snow everywhere. This randomly disappearing snow. So that's a bit weird. But yeah, it's just a shame that we see the snowman really. And then again, they called me out on shit immediately because he goes into the house and he kind of appears behind. And then this kill's great. This scene is all really good. It's just that we've seen him. So. He sort of randomly kind of gets in the house and appears behind the armchair. And I've written, like, how the fuck does a giant fucking snowman move stealthily?
Yeah.
Like, he's massive. He's got no legs. Like, how does he... And then immediately we see him melt and reform. And I'm like, oh, yeah, of course he fucking does. All right.
Why not?
You got me. I'll go with it. That's fine. Yeah. Of course he fucking melts, and that's fine. So again, they like one step ahead of me. It's like the director's there going, people are going to question this, so here's the answer.
It's almost like he travelled in time 23 years forward, listened to this and went, I better go fix that.
Yeah, fucking Chris, I'll show him. You know, and actually, like in this second kill, then where he's inside, they do make some attempt to animate his features as well, but it's just the mouth.
Yes.
That's better, but again, because we've seen him fully and he hasn't been animated, now I'm going, well, hang on, this should have been the other way around. We just see his mouth move first. Let's just see snippets of him.
But and the thing is, the two kills as well. I mean, the two kills are done for effect. Obviously, they're done for comic effect. So the first one, he shoves the hatchet, handle first or shaft first down the guy's throat.
Yeah.
So I mean, because you I think again the way it's animated, you see it. You see an arm, don't you? So no, you see the hatchet getting swung by, I think his name was Jake, and then all of a sudden you see it stopping, and then it's pulled the other way. As you see it swung, and you assume he's going to cleave his head with it. But actually, then he falls to the ground and the fucking hatchet sticking out of his gullet. Fucking fantastic. Really, it's inventive. It's funny because, obviously, making him deep throat his own axe rather than splitting his head with it is funnier. I get that. So that was great. And then you go inside and you get this whole thing of the appearing and disappearing and reappearing. That's all brilliant. That's really good. It's good. It's really atmospheric. I think the pacing is slightly off. I think it's slightly too quick.
It is. It's the edits as well when he actually comes to start wrapping her up.
Yeah, the tension isn't there.
No.
But then you get the thing where, and it made me laugh because it's so fucking stupid, but normally you see it in films whereby people are trying to drown people in toilets and sinks and shit, where they hold their head. No, they're shoving them and holding their heads in. And he just shoves her into this box of baubles, just grinding her face in.
Yeah.
And that was just, what the fuck is he doing? And he pulls her out, there's just bits of fucking glitter and that's sticking off her face. I was like, that's fucking amazing.
Great. It's a fucking great scene. As you say, slightly mishandled on the pacing, and also then we get to the end and his pun game is fucking awful.
I can't remember what the pun was there.
He just says, remember to wrap up warm.
Oh, so yeah, because he strangles her, doesn't he?
He strangles her. But it's like, come on, where are the snow puns? I mean, it's a fucking given, innit?
Well, I mean, the thing is that there are better puns later on.
Much better.
And there are better one-liners that aren't puns as well.
They totally fix this later on, but I feel like right here and now,
each kill deserves a solid pun.
Yeah, and they're not leaning into this material in the way that they should be. I feel like they're holding back at the moment.
It's almost as though they're still trying to take it as a serious product.
Exactly.
At some point they kind of go, oh, you know what, fuck this, just have fun.
And that is
play.
Absolute key. Look, if you're going to make a film about a murderous fucking talking snowman, then you just have to give it everything you've got. And you can still make a really good, and this is a really good, well-structured narrative. You can still do that.
Yeah.
But you have to 100% lean into the fact that your film is about a murderous talking snowman and not pretend that it's Jaws.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it in one of two ways. You can either lean into the silly, the slapstick, the punning, and all the rest of it, and that's fine. And that's what we get in the second half of this one, which is really good. Or you can lean into this paranormal, fucking
either way,
really
it's
scary
fine.
Shit.
Yeah,
you can't switch from one to the other halfway through the film.
No. Like at this point, and we've talked about one of them on the show anyway. But there were two things that immediately sprung to mind me. One being Krampus. Yeah. Because of course Christmas and that absolutely does immediately lean in its and if anybody hasn't seen Krampus, absolutely go and see it. It's incredible. That absolutely leans into its material straight away.
Yeah.
And the other one, not Christmassy, but probably the most absolutely the best film of this type and the most sort of apt one to compare it to would be Killer Clowns, where immediately it's just like, yes, this is absolutely fucking ludicrous. Yes. No, we don't care, and so here is
you're gonna get a film about Killer Clowns.
You wanted Killer Clowns. Here's Killer Clowns with their candy floss guns and everything. Like here it is.
This is the most Killer Clowns film we can make. Same as this is the most murderous snowman film we can make.
It absolutely is by the end, but at this point we're like, it's not the most murderous snowman, though, is it? It's like you're not
at this point.
You're not going for this yet.
I mean, again, considering who the snowman is a reincarnation of, the embodiment of, this guy killed 38 people and put them into pies.
Yeah.
This is a real So the fact you've got these really sort of schlocky comedy deaths, like shoving the axe handle first down the guy's throat, or wrapping her up, strangling him with Christmas lights and wrapping her up and making puns. That's not who. They tried to sell him as that in the van, but he wasn't that.
No. So there's just this weird disconnect, and I'm still, like I said, I'm still enjoying the hell out of this, and it's still way better. I'm way more technically sound at this point than I ever thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hang on, you're going the wrong way. And this is where I'm starting to worry that actually, this is going to be one of those episodes where we absolutely rip into something. Because as much as I'm enjoying it and think it's okay, I'm like, look, you're inviting yourself for criticism here. Whereas by the end, they're completely bulletproof as far as I'm concerned. But they're inviting criticism here because they're technically sound and they're trying to go for something.
35 minutes.
Yep. So there's that. And then we get back to town and there's a priest, which is fantastic because there should always be a priest. So I'm very happy to see the priest. And then
said no Catholic altar boy ever.
Yeah. But I feel like when you're gonna get to the finale and there's gonna be a demonic fucking snowman, you need a priest. Like you have to.
The priest's actions, like his physical movements in the last shot. We'll cover that when we get there.
When we get there. Yeah. I'm glad I.
Spoilers. The priest survives.
Yeah. He's got to. He's the priest. He's got to at least. He doesn't have to survive all the way to the end, but he's at least got to get to the final battle so that he can bless something or sacrifice himself or whatever. Yeah. That is the role of the priest. But yeah, he survives all the way through. Now, I burst out laughing at this point. The sheriff goes in to deliver a fucking speech to the town folk, to rally them all up and tell them what's gone on.
Before we get to that, so he meets the FBI agent, doesn't he, in the office?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
We get that, and he takes them out to Jake and Sally's house, and he makes a point of they're not murder victims, they're Jake and Sally because it's a small town, all that. And there's a line in here which really fucking stuck in my throat.
Oh, go for it then.
And you will come on to why when we get to the bathtub scene. But they're in the house and they're looking at the murder victims and they talk, and you've got the scientist talking about this, the fact that he can, they've now twigged that he can materialize in and out of liquid and all the rest of it. And he said, "Oh my God, poor Jill. How's she going to deal with this? She's just turned 18. That is important."
Yeah, that's very important. Now, I'll be honest. I'd forgotten about that line. I didn't write it down, but
keep an eye out for that later.
Yeah, no, that did stick with me as well. The fact that they specifically mentioned her age, because we have already seen her sort of come on to the guy when he was building the snowman. So she's clearly there as a kind of sex pot. Yes. And it's Shannon Elizabeth, so But yeah, I found it was very specifically, like, there was no need for that dialogue at all. It was very expository. It was like, she is 18.
Yeah, she has just turned 18. She is barely legal. Wonder where we're going with this.
Yes. So yeah, there was that about it.
So that really bugged me.
Yeah. Fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, when we get to that scene, well, I'll know. That's what I'll tell you why.
It's fine. So then he goes to address the townsfolk. Now, this is, there's been, at this point, 3 deaths in the last 24 hours. Yeah. Less than 24 hours, probably more like about 5 or 6 hours, really, because the father goes straight home, right? So there's been 3 deaths. This is
the following morning, isn't it? Because
okay.
So yeah, it's about 24 hours. Because they found Old Man Withers, wherever his fucking name was, dead on his porch. Then they had that day
4 fucking deaths.
Because of the kid.
4 deaths, right? So that's where I didn't get. That's where I was confused with the Trevor. Right. So there's been 4 deaths in 24 hours. Okay, this is a small town. Everyone knows everybody.
Yeah.
Odds are at this point either they've got a madman on the loose or one of them is a killer.
Yeah. Now, let's be fair. What are the odds that a second serial killer will be loose in their fucking town?
Yeah, slim, right?
When they haven't found the body of the first one who supposedly died in the crash.
Right. So he goes in to address them. Is the right approach here, honestly, applause? Because
yeah, you go, Sam. You tell him.
I burst out fucking laughing. He walks on stage and they applaud him, and I'm like, hang on a minute, shouldn't the town be
I thought, because he comes onto the stage, and there's the poster for the Snowman building competition.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering whether they're just going to forgo all the murders and shit. He's going to start judging the snowman competition.
Yeah, and then they go outside and Jack's just there and he's like, "That's the best snowman," and he goes to pin a rosette on him and gets a fucking carrot through the eye or something.
Yeah.
There's a missed opportunity. There's another missed opportunity later on as well, but there's a missed opportunity there for why didn't they put him in the snowman competition?
Well, yeah.
God,
what was the point?
Damn it.
Even before that, so when they're building all the snowmen at the start, and you get the joke about what's the difference between snowmen and snowwomen, and the snowballs. You get that, right? And I think it's Jake, isn't it? He has his under a sheet.
Yeah.
Isn't it more likely to fucking melt under there?
Yeah, it probably is because you're insulating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is the point? Like, everybody else is covering theirs, theirs are out in the open. Who gives a fuck? It's not that important.
No, not really. No.
In the grand scheme of things, it's really fucking not. But you know,
small town.
Nah, true.
So, yeah, small town, gathers them all there, and then he imposes a 24-hour curfew on them, which he won't arrest anybody. It's not compulsory.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
but
not
he would
really, it's not worth my time.
But he would
I'd
really,
appreciate
really
it.
like you to stay indoors if you could.
But
that
then again,
all sounds very fucking familiar to me right now.
But
That's
I mean,
very topical.
It is, but I mean, again, it has that sort of small town feel to it. And look, you know, I'm not going to arrest you. Just don't fuck about, all right? We got a problem. Let's just sort it out. Don't be a dick. We'll get through this, and we'll all go back to fucking drinking moonshine and sucking each other off or whatever it is. Let's just fucking get through it.
I wish everybody else in the real world was that amenable to like.
Well,
just fucking behave, will you? You
yeah,
fucking
just stay inside.
I'm not asking for much. Just fucking
don't go any fucking where.
Stay the fucking doors, you assholes. Anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole. But it just that bit jumped out at me a little bit. And then so we get another scene with the agents then, don't we?
Yeah.
And the agent just flat out punches this guy out. Like he's starting to panic because the old man's seen the fucking snowman. The guy that comes around with all the bits and pieces.
I don't think he'd seen that. I think he saw Sally's dead body, didn't he, with all the fucking lights and everything, and the baubles in her face. I can't remember if he'd seen the snowman or not.
He starts ranting and raving about how it's the snowman.
I couldn't remember.
And then he just punches him out.
Sparks him.
That's a bit fucking extreme, isn't it?
That's assault.
Pretty sure it is, yeah.
Even in America?
Yeah, but then again, talking about the secretary, scene stealing again. The agent fucks off. The sheriff sort of sends then one of his officers to go and check out what's happening, and the secretary's just stood in front of him. And as he's walking off, she just looks straight up at him because she's so tiny.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking hilarious. Like, she is so spatially aware, and her physical comedy is so good.
Yeah.
She's just excellent. Really, really good character work from her. Just like, I'm just this tiny little small town secretary.
And the thing is that you've had her as well. Like, we had her earlier on, like blow drying her hair and shit.
Yeah.
And it's just that her timing and her presence is brilliant because you don't expect it.
Fucking excellent.
And you expect her to be one of those annoying characters who is played for laughs.
That's where I thought we were going with her, and she's not at all, is she?
No, I mean, we talked about Happy Time Murders last time out, and we talked about Maya Rudolph's character,
Bubbles,
and that was written in a very specific way to get those laughs until midway through the second act when all of a sudden they started giving her something to do. But I thought we were going to get that sort of thing whereby it's just like, oh, she's there to be fucking stupid. She's there to be laughed at.
Yeah.
And she is, but for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. She's fucking superb. So then the officer goes to... I can't remember where he's going. He gets dispatched somewhere.
He goes off to the guy who just got punched. He goes out to his place to see what's going on.
That's right. But Jack's in the middle of the road. Now,
yes.
Couldn't he have just driven around him? He's only a fucking snowman.
Well, no, because there was so much snow on the side of the road where the plough had actually fucking been.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed that then because I just thought, why the fuck is he stopping?
There was snow either side and there was like a road sign, so there wasn't any room for him to pull around.
Oh, okay. Well, I fucking missed that completely.
Yeah. So so then he gets out, he gets a shovel out of the boot, and by the time he's got a shovel out of the boot, Jack's gone.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, completely. And
that's not fucking weird at all.
No, then ends up killing him and stealing the car.
Now, we've already established from the guy in the truck, he hasn't got any legs.
No, and also he can melt and reform at will. Why the fuck does he need a car? He hasn't got
he's got to travel distance.
You're quite right. He's got no legs, so he can't put his foot in the pedal. He doesn't have opposable thumbs, so he can't actually grip the wheel.
To be fair, I don't grip the wheel. I just have to hold my fingers against it and.
But he's snow. He would the wheel would go through him. Fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah. Let's That's not
Snowman can
at
drive.
this point. It's a magic snowman monster.
Yeah, but he gives him this fucking scary look as he walks past out
Yeah.
of the window. He's fucking hilarious. He just gives this scary look to camera. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we were at the sheriff's house. Shannon Elizabeth and her paramour are at the sheriff's house. And the fucking lighting outside is stunning, the way they've lit the house up behind him. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, again, before that, we get the scene in the house with the sheriff's wife, and we get the shadow outside.
Oh, we get the scary leak.
So I was talking about the shadows in the window and stuff. This is the scene I was on about. That's really good. You get the scary leak coming out, and you when she opens the cupboard, you expect to be fucking lunged at.
Yeah.
All of this stuff, and then somebody comes up behind her, and all of this stuff is really fucking good. It's really building the tension. It's really good. You get the nice sort of comic scene between her and the deputy, who's not the one who just got fucking murdered out in the sticks, whatever. So we get all of that. That's really good. That's really nice. It's a really nice scene. And then we get them. We watch them, presumably from Jack's POV, getting in the car.
That scene, the deputy in that scene is brilliant as he's walking to the car, explaining exactly what she needs to do to take care of the leak and how she needs to do it. And then she just gets in and shuts the door to drone him out. So he stops talking, walks around the car, opens the door, and he hasn't missed a beat. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious. And we get the POV of Jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's right. And then we pan across.
Jill and Tommy behind a tree.
Yeah.
To go into that. Now, one thing I don't get right.
Probably the same thing as me, and I was hoping you tell me because maybe I missed it, but maybe you missed it as well. Then go on.
So the whole point of this is that they break into the sheriff's house to fuck.
Right. Is that it? Is that the only? Because why? Yeah, I thought maybe they were in there for some sort of reason, but I couldn't
according
know
to the
what
wiki
that was.
page, and also you take wiki pages as you kind of get them, but according to the wiki page, it's as revenge for her family's deaths. How does that get you revenge? Murdering them all in their sleep, that's revenge.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Fucking in their bed? Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, the reason they're in the sheriff's house is because they can't afford another set.
Well,
they could have done it in a car, they could have done it outdoors, but then that wouldn't allow us to get fucking scenes that we get.
Now, my favourite fucking line in the entire film is in this bit.
Go for it.
So where she says, "Oh, if you want me, no, it'll cost you a bubble bath and whatever else." So she fucks off.
Wine.
Upstairs. She
wants wine. Yeah.
So she fucks upstairs, and he's there pottering around the kitchen, and we hear the noise outside. So he's opens the door. Says, "Sheriff, is that you? I'm really sorry." All the rest of it. Fucking Jack bursts in. Who the fuck are you? Well, I'm not fucking Frosty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The punch from this point. This is the turning point. It is.
I was like, that's the stupidest fucking line in the film. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is the turning point. This is where actually it's almost as if somebody else has come in and gone, no.
Yeah,
we're making a film.
Let's write something.
Killer snowmen, right? But before all of that, the actual turning point, the point where this film absolutely just switches gear completely. Right at the top of this scene, we get the 12 Days of Sexmas, and that's just fucking amazing. Like you get that fucking rock cover of the 12 Days of Christmas, and they're stripping off, and you're like,
and they got fucking 15,000 layers each because it's so bastarding cold.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that was really great. That's one thing we haven't talked about, actually. And I remember I mentioned it to you yesterday when I was watching it. The soundscape is brilliant. The way they use the soundtrack, and they use these really altered versions of like well-known Christmas songs.
Yeah.
And you get 12 Days of Christmas, you get fucking Will Come All You Faithful, and all this sort of shit that you don't expect in this type of film. But it's just these really twisted sort of versions which don't sound right.
Yeah, they're great. They are
amazing.
really, really good.
It really struck me. It's one of those, and you think something. Oh, I know that. I know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell! You can't have done that.
Again, when they lean into it, they absolutely stick this. So it's made me laugh. 12 Days of Sexmas, brilliant. Then she's a complete fucking prick tease. It's just like
How did she made a career out of that? Can't imagine how.
I know, they get all the way down to this skimpies, and then she's just like, "Oh no, actually," and bearing in mind she's the one that fucking starts it as well, and then goes, "No, actually, it's going to cost you some wine and a bubble bath." Right? Okay, whatever. So then we go to the kitchen, and I thought this is the second missed opportunity, because first of all, he's pouring wine, champagne, whatever. She asks for wine specifically, but I'm pretty sure it's champagne that he pours, or sparkling rosé, or some fucking shit.
Well,
it's not white wine,
for.
Right? But anyway, he's working with what he's got. Then he pours it and goes, "I wonder if it needs ice." Who the fuck puts ice in wine?
I will tell you for who. Australians.
Why?
Because their red wine gets very hot. So they put ice in it to cool it down, to bring it down to fucking normal temperature. By the time it gets to room temperature, it's fucking melted and it's all gone. But
Just watering the fucking wine down. Like, at that point, it's squash. What the fuck are you doing?
To be fair, seeing how wine affects me, that's probably not a fucking bad
Look,
thing.
I am not a wine drinker.
I don't do wine. Well, I like wine, but wine doesn't like me.
Yeah, I'm the same. And also, I'm the only person in this house that does drink wine. So if I open a bottle, I've got to drink a bottle. And I wouldn't drink white anyway, so I guess I never would put ice in it. But anyway.
But yeah, I mean, the problem with me with wine is I have one speed of drinking, as you'll have probably noticed.
Yep.
I drink, if it's Coke, if it's cider, if it's beer, if it's wine, it goes down the same fucking speed. And so if there's a bottle there, the bottle's getting drunk. But it probably doesn't take that long, and then I can't fucking talk or stand up or see.
Yeah. So, okay, so neither of us are wine drinkers, but I'm pretty sure that both of us agree that you don't put ice in fucking wine. So anyway, and because of that, it felt like a stretch to me of like, okay, this ice is going to mean something. So then he opens the ice box and you can see carrots and stuff at the back of the ice box. I'm like, oh, this is going somewhere. He's in the fucking ice box. Yeah. So then I'm thinking like, okay, so he's going to chip the ice out, put the ice in the wine. One of them's going to drink the wine, and then Jack, right,
from inside out. That's the little fucking John Hurt thing.
Yeah. And I think, this is I've written this is fucking brilliant. Like, because I've actually written that like who the fuck puts ice in whatever the fuck he's got there, because it would water it down. But I've actually written after that like I can see where it's going though, and I'll give it a pass because I love it. But this is a fucking stretch. But then they never do anything with that.
No.
What a wasted opportunity.
It is, and then you get the comedy in this scene comes down. Obviously, you hear the noise outside, and you see the movement in the shadows, and he gets scared. Obviously, he thinks the sheriff's come back, he's going to catch him, all that sort of shit. But rather than as any teenage kid would, when you're in somebody, again, not that I ever did this, but I would imagine if you're in somebody else's house with a girl you're intending to fuck, and that person comes home, you fucking leg it out the other door.
Yeah.
You don't call out to them and say, "I'm really sorry."
Yeah, no.
You get the fuck out of there. And let's be fair, if she's upstairs having a bath, fuck her, she's on her own.
And especially if that person is the law.
Yeah, if that's Johnny Law, you get the fuck out of Dodge. Of
course you fucking do.
So he gets that, and he's calling. He goes to shut the door, and he's calling. "Oh, sheriff, is that you? It's Tommy." And he identifies himself straight a fucking way as well. What sort of criminal mastermind is he? So he gets that, and then fucking Jack bursts in. I said, "Who the fuck? I'm not. Oh, it ain't fucking Frosty.
It ain't fucking Frosty. It's the world's most pissed off snowman." Is the actual
that fucking creased me.
Brilliant. And this is the point where if we'd have had that slow build, if we hadn't seen him up until this point, because this is the point now where he's fully animated at this point.
Yes.
They like okay.
From here on in, it's there.
So it's some kind of weird like latex foam head. We're not talking a fucking proper puppet or anything, but it's fine.
No.
Look,
it works.
It's low budget, it's fine, and it works. What they're doing works. I buy it. If this was our first reveal, and especially with the line being, "Well, it ain't fucking Frosty."
Yeah.
Like, and we're only like 45 minutes in, something like that at this point. That's fine. Like if they'd have just stretched it out to this,
bring him in there.
And then here he is. We can see all the other murders, but like I said, you just see like the sled going over, so we don't know whether the kid is guilty or not. We just know that there was a snowman there, and then you can see maybe a twig hand or a carrot or snippets of things, and then this is the full-on reveal. Who is it? Well, it ain't fucking Frosty. I'm the world's most pissed off snowman. That would have been amazing. As it is, though,
well done.
I don't even know where that came from. It just came out of me, that one. I like. Don't get me wrong. This is great as it is, and at this point, from this point on, this is a fuctexting laugh riot.
Yes, it is.
I've enjoyed it up until this point, but it fucking takes off here. Because
I texted you about 2 minutes before this. I was like, "This fucking film is bananas."
Yeah.
I don't know those are the words I used. This fucking film is bananas.
BANANAS, and that's the point then where I was like, "Have you got to the bath yet?"
I was like, no.
Yeah, and I was like,
but I knew it was coming. I haven't seen it before, and I knew it was coming up soon. But I was like, no, not yet. And I couldn't remember what was going on.
Yeah, because for me, it was the first time I'd watched it, but you would have known about the bath scene anyway, so it wouldn't have taken you by surprise quite the same way it did with me.
Oh, it's the stuff of fucking legend.
Yeah.
For all the wrong reasons.
Well, yeah. So we get, obviously, he gets offed.
And again, Jack has new powers. All of a sudden, he can shoot fucking icicles out of his fingers, because why not? Why?
Fine.
Why not?
I'll go
I
with
didn't
it.
know. And again, it's
He's
something.
fucking Snowman.
He's a snowman, but you look at this, and you think, well, hang on, why has he not done that before? Well, he doesn't know what he can do, and as he said, oh, that was new.
Yeah.
Let's see how it works, and he
Yeah.
does it again.
Yeah.
And that's all really nice. It's all really fun. It's nice and clean. People think, no, you're not thinking, hang on, that's a fucking logic gap. Why hasn't he done that all the way through? Because you know, and that's fine. You can accept that.
Fine. Yeah, you totally go with that. Totally go with that. So then Shannon Elizabeth finds a bubble bath, goes into the bubble bath, and then the carrot pops up in the bath.
Well, before, yeah, you get that, and then she's there with her eyes closed, and she's sort of fondling the fucking nape of her neck and shit like that.
Yeah.
Who does that, by the way? Who fucking no? Who is that? Is that some sort of fucking pleasure center? That bit between your collarbones?
It's because she's seen the flake advert, obviously, and
Well,
that's what women do in the bath.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, have you not seen the flake advert? Like they fondle.
I didn't
neck.
think it was a real thing. I just
they fondle their neck and eat crumbly, flaky chocolate. That's what they do.
Which crumbly chocolate in the bath?
Well, exactly.
Chocolate everywhere.
Because it's because as you're dropping it, you can wash it off. That's what they're doing.
It's just a fucking waste of chocolate.
Big chocolate flake in this hand, and wash yourself with that hand. So it's like perpetual motion. You just eat the chocolate, wash it off. It's fine.
That's just such a fucking waste of chocolate.
No, you're still eating the fucking chocolate.
But all the bits that are falling off, you're washing off. No.
But you lose those bits of flake anyway, because otherwise they go on you and you try and brush them off, and then you just brush them into your clothes. You get chocolate on your clothes. And then, I was going to say, when you were a kid, you'd suck it out of your clothes. Yeah, of course you would. But
yeah, when you're a kid.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a beard, so you don't have that problem now anyway. Your beard just catches it, surely.
This is true.
There you go. See? So, anyway, logistics of eating a flake aside, she didn't have a flake. She did have a carrot.
Didn't munch it.
It was at this point where I could see where the scene was going, which is interesting for two reasons, okay? But first of all, I could see where the scene was going, and the first thing I've written is, God damn it, they aren't going to use the ice in the wine. Like, because that's what I wanted to see. Never mind this. I wanted to see them use the ice in the wine. But they don't. The carrot pops up in the bath in a very suggestive position. And then he proceeds to obviously form himself and
again, we get this brilliant bit from her where she's still there with her eyes closed and fondling the fucking neighbour and goes, oh, don't put cold water in, you're ruining it. And then all of a sudden it turns into snow. Now, this is the point where it's important they had to get that line in about her being 18.
Yes, because otherwise
it stops being rape and it starts being statutory rape, which is even fucking worse.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's not this funny rape scene anymore.
Hang on. Let's qualify this. Let's qualify
this funny rape scene. Rape is never funny.
No,
rape is never funny.
Let's just qualify that now.
Obviously, this is what they're going for. It's a snowman having sex with a woman.
It's absurd, so it's funny, and you can laugh at it.
However, if she's 16,
that's worse.
She's a child.
Now, interestingly, one of the things I learned in my research, that wasn't what they were going for whatsoever. He is supposed to form in the bath, pick her up and kill her by repeatedly slamming her against the wall.
Which is what he does.
And
I wasn't quite sure because you get that, and the motion you've got, and they do come out to a wide, and he is bashing her against the wall, and it's only ever so slightly suggested that his lower half is moving. However, the line, I guess Christmas came early this year.
Yep. Now,
that's the point we think, okay, well, he fucking raped her then.
Yeah, so what happened was the scene was shot with the carrot and all, because the carrot's there as a tease. Scene was shot, they got to the edit suite, and the editor actually called the director over and said, you realize what you've done. When he cut it together, he was like, you realize what this looks like, because they were shot from side profile and he was slamming her into the wall, and we'd had the carrot.
Yeah.
So by the power of montage,
because the carrot's not on his face either, is it? The carrot's still wherever.
The carrot is there. If you can see my jumper, that's where the carrot is.
Is that why you chose this fucking jumper?
No, this is just the only Christmas jumper I own because I'm a child. So
it's not the best one I've seen. I'll tell you about that off air.
So it has won me many a Christmas jumper competition, but it's now quite readily available, that one. So I feel like everybody's got it now. Anyway, long story short. So the carrot comes at power of montage. Okay, we assume that he's fucking us. So the editor calls the director in, says you're aware of what this looks like, and then they realize that they just had to go with it. So they went back in reshoots and specifically reshot the line, I guess Christmas came early. Now, that is the most animated and the best framed thus far that Jack Frost has been. And that's where my theory comes in, and it doesn't expand on this. I've looked everywhere to see if I can expand on it with anything else, but that's where my theory comes in, that actually some of these lines that come in later on where he's in close-up and stuff, and some of the better stuff, is as a result of them reshooting that and going, oh, we can make this work.
Yeah.
Because
I think you might be right. I mean, I've not read an awful lot about sort of that type of the sort of the shooting side of it and the reshoots. So I mean, you may be right on that.
But yeah, look, this scene is fucking immense.
Yes.
Absolutely, like rape is never funny, but it's absurd, and so you can laugh at it as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's a fucking snowman raping a woman using a carrot for a cock. That is absurd and hilarious. Because you just, where the fuck did that come from? You know, and actually it was an accident, which makes it even funnier. So that's all good, and now he's properly animated, like Jack Frost is properly fucking animated here. But to me, it feels like we needed to just get here earlier, like those earlier kills, if we're honest.
Well, yeah, that's it. And I mean, as you said, no, if the first reveal had been where he burst through that door and goes, "Ain't fucking Frosty," yeah, that's fine. But because they've tried to introduce him earlier, it just, at this point, it's just like, okay, well, we've seen him now. So and more, like they've had to go and do something else to build on that. Whereas it's almost as if they've kind of gone, oh fuck, we shot a load too early on that one. We probably need to go back and fix it. Oh, we can't. We haven't got the budget. Right. Okay. In that case, let's go fucking apeshit on it. Let's really hammer it home.
Yeah, but from a narrative point of view as well, like you said, those earlier kills, it almost feels like he's some sort of agent of chaos where he's just randomly rocking. And look, he's a serial killer. I get it.
Yeah.
But his whole raison d'etre here is he's come back from beyond the grave, essentially, because he should have been killed by the chemical, but he didn't. He fused with the snow because he wants to wreak revenge on the sheriff. Now,
okay, if why is he not kill the old dude?
Yes, why is he not going after the sheriff and his family? He should be like the fucking Snowman Terminator.
Yeah, like being in their house. I get that.
Makes sense because these kids are in their house. So
yeah, I get that. That's fine. But why go after the old dude? Why go after the other family? Yes, okay, Billy was being a cunt.
Yeah.
And kind of deserved it. But why would you protect the sheriff's son when you're going to kill him yourself anyway?
Right, that makes no sense. But also, maybe he doesn't want to reveal himself there. So I feel like if you go from the Billy kill to then you have a little bit of mystery and intrigue around that, because that's enough. Let's be fair. Yeah. You've had the, like, go with the old man first, the first one in the rocking chair, okay? Because he happened to stumble across him, and go with the Billy kill. Okay, now I get that the Christmas tree kill was awesome and it was a good scene, but you go with those two, then it just sort of leads on then to the fact the snowman is already there. He's in his house.
Yeah.
So the fact that the kids break in then and the snowman's like, oh, maybe that's his daughter, is the way you could play that, you know? Yeah. Whereas actually what he's done instead is he's gone from where he needs to be, from the sheriff's house, wandered all around town killing people and ended up back there.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense. He should be going after, but again, whatever the fuck, I enjoyed the first half, and I will forgive all of those little misdemeanors for the second half, because now we're off and running. We're at the fucking fair now, and it's absolutely
if you had only shot the second half of this film, if you shot 60 minutes of this, I'd be happy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely fucking genius, this. So then the kills start coming sort of thick and fast as well. The action's coming.
Yeah.
And they kind of they work out that it's Jack Frost. Everybody's on board. The FBI agents come clean. Everybody's sort of getting this plan together to catch Jack, and then he kind of sort of breaks in on them, doesn't he, in the police station, and they pull out a fucking hairdryer, which is genius.
Yeah, this and again, we see it earlier on with Marla.
Yeah, and this is what I meant by leaning into it. This is the Killer Clowns approach. This is, with the popcorn guns and stuff like that.
It's the stupidest way you could ever kill anything, but it's a snowman, so it doesn't like heat. Yeah, so why not introduce a hairdryer?
So they lean into it. And then they put on the fly, they put their plan together. It turns a little bit of salt and protein, and they make a decision to use aerosol to blow the place and kill the monster. What a genius idea that is, to use aerosol in your final act to blow up your monster. I kind of wish, could you think of anybody else who may have written something that has a private joke here, listeners? But maybe one day you'll see where we're going. Yeah. Maybe one day.
Maybe we'll start Kickstarter and all three of you can give us some money.
Because yes, I have used this exact narrative point. I have I have too written a film with an unstoppable force that eventually gets blown up via a truckload of hairspray. So I guess this is just a thing now. I guess this is just a trope. And look, this was written way before I even stroked the first key on mine. This was back in the 90s. So yeah, but I didn't see this, so it came out of nowhere with me. But yeah, that totally works. Like I love this whole. I really love it especially in a horror film where it's like this when you're in a small town and you just have to MacGyver this shit. I love that where the plan has to come together and it's not some mad supernatural force. So we don't have
can't have this fucking Deus Ex Machina thing where there's something that's been designed specifically for this.
It is literally just what have we got to hand? Loads of hairspray.
Yeah, it's how do you kill a snowman? Right, okay. Fucking fire.
Yeah, I love it. So they set all the hairspray off. Mind you, they are just seem to be unlimited supply because they tape them down and they just keep going for minutes.
Right. Well, to be fair, you don't know how many there are because Marla did have a fairly fucking staunch perm on her. Maybe they were just fucking millions of them. But you get this really nice sequence as well where they drag it out so he has to go back to get his keys to open the fucking padlock to get him out. It's beautiful. It's really well done. And then while he's in there, he realizes there are people in the cells, so he lets them out.
Yeah,
it's really well done. And it's like, what the fuck are they doing up? But it really works. It really does ramp it up.
Yeah, it's really, really well done. But then they open the window to climb out of, and straight away I'm going like, hang on a minute, you're letting all the hairspray out. This doesn't work.
It's only a small window, but still, yeah.
Again, whatever. I'll go with it. Fine, doesn't matter. So they blow it. And then where do we go from there?
So they blow it, and they're assuming he's dead, but then obviously all the snow is melted and is dripping back into fucking crevices underneath the debris of the police or the sheriff's office.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So, but I mean, obviously that was never going to kill him. You know, we've still got time left, and they never.
Well, that was it. We got to that. I was like, hang on. Yes, okay, that's the fucking Jaws ending, more or less. But we've still got like 20 minutes left.
Yeah, and also like we've already established that he can melt and refreeze at will. So like, surely, in my mind, they need to like freeze him solid and then smash him to bits. Was where I was
you need
going
to T-1000 him.
Yeah, exactly. You'd think, but no. Instead, what we get this fucking plan emerge all of a sudden that the fucking oatmeal has got antifreeze in it.
Well, yeah, I mean
the oatmeal that I forgot all about by this point.
Well, I can't remember how that came about. I sort of switched off for a minute. I think I was texting you at the time, and all of a sudden they were talking about the oatmeal because half his head was missing. He came back. And then did they fucking force feed it to him, or did he eat? No, did he eat it? I can't remember how it came about, but all of a sudden half his fucking head was missing, and the kid's in tears because I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I just thought because it's always so cold here because we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. I wanted to keep you warm, so I put antifreeze in your oatmeal. Who fucking does that for a start?
They're in the car, isn't they? Is what happened. So we've skipped over a little bit here.
We have jumped a bit, haven't we?
There's a little bit of planning that goes on. We get a little bit of our kind of exposition. There's actually I can't believe I jumped over this. There's a discussion from the doctor who's working with the FBI guy, where he starts sort of theorizing that actually there's been some sort of chemical bond happen between the acid and Jack Frost, and so actually that proves that the soul is a chemical. Well, like somebody's really fucking thought about
that. Somebody's gone into some detail on that.
There is a lot that you could unpack there. Like it's this. I appreciate the effort and the thought that's gone into this. You know, this is what I mean by they take it absolutely seriously and they really lean into it, and that's really really cool. Then I was saying about smash him to bits, but they have discussion about, well, let's put him in a watertight container. Again, sensible, and the classic horror ending, chop him up into pieces. Yeah. We do get there eventually, because of course we do. So that's all good. And then he sort of busts in, and they've all got the hairdryers, and we get the best gag yet. Blow me.
Yeah. He pulls the cord out, doesn't he?
Pulls the cord out. Blow me. Brilliant.
Yeah, because don't they put him in the furnace?
Yes.
It's now we get to that. No, they lure him down to the basement.
They lure him down. They use the hairdryers to
back him down into there.
To back him down into the furnace, and the idea is then they're going to blow the furnace, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's all fine. They get to the point where
Yes, they're all celebrating. So sheriff and his son have left, and it's the FBI agent and the doctor down in the basement in the furnace, and then he comes back
in the furnace.
So then you get Blow Me.
Then you get Blow Me, and then you get one of my favorite moments in the film, actually, and it's I don't know whether it must have been planned, but we now realize that he can possess people because you see the guy stumbling out of the police station.
He's not so much possessing him as he just fucking
he
follows him out and he wears him like a fucking suit.
Yeah, essentially. He wears him like the Bug wears the Edgar suit, basically, and he's wandering.
I couldn't remember the Edgar name, but I should remember that, shouldn't I? So he walks out, and you get this really fucking. Obviously, we're looking at him going, okay, why is he just fucking walking out? Why don't his joints work anymore? We all know what's going on. And the sheriff looks at him and goes, all right.
But then it's just the fact that actually, just everything about it is brilliant. The comic timing is brilliant, where he just goes, fuck it, and just spits himself out. Like he can't even be asked to keep up the charade. Like he's discovering his powers as we go, as we say, and he's now discovered that he can actually just get inside people and walk about. So he's essentially
people are predominantly water, aren't they?
Yeah. So he's kind of the thing at this point. If he wants to, he can integrate himself into society. He can kill from within. Like he's become really powerful, but he's like, fuck that.
I haven't got time for that.
I'm a monster fucking snowman. Fuck it. I love the
and again the bit where he just fucking vomits him out.
Yeah, it's like he just can't be asked. He's fuck it. I just want to kill people.
Yeah, so that's meaning in life where the fat guy just it's just there's so much of it, and all of a sudden he's like, just T1000 all formed back together, and the snowman's there again.
Yeah, fucking genius. So then they get in the car. They're trying to jump the car while soaking wet. That's not the best idea in the world, is it?
Oh, really? No. Yeah. I did think there's water pissing in. He's trying to jump. It's like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Fairly sure those two things don't mix. I know it's only a battery.
Yeah.
But still.
And then it's at this point, of course, we get the oatmeal because the oatmeal is on the passenger seat. So the oatmeal burns a chunk of his face off.
Yeah.
And we don't fully understand why, but we talked about Deus Ex Machina, and like this has been seeded so well. It is Chekhov's gun, even though we didn't realize it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
again, another really good line comes out of this as well, where he puts himself back together, and his fucking head's on his side. Oh look, I'm a Picasso. Straight from fucking Toy Story.
Yeah, excellent, absolutely
beautiful.
Excellent. And again, the animation now is there. He's moving and he's sideways.
Yeah, his head's on his fucking hip.
And this is what we needed more of. We needed him to have this kind of sort of Freddy Krueger quip attitude all the way through. But yeah, we learned that the oatmeal, which I had forgotten about because so much has gone on, even though, like I said, they deliberately seeded it to the point where you do go, the oatmeal, of course.
Obviously.
Fucking fantastic writing, okay? Like, I love the hairspray move. Pulled it myself. Love the oatmeal side of it as well because it's just something that ties everything back together. Excellent. Fucking amazing, brilliant writing. Then the antifreeze thing is dumb as a bag of rocks. Make no sense whatsoever. But I'm like, you know what? The oatmeal was so good that I'm going to let you get away with it. So yeah, the kid.
But it does have that sort of childish logic to it, doesn't it? I mean, if that kid was a little bit younger, I'd accept it. If that kid was about 7, you'd kind of go, well, you know what? Yeah, that's the sort of thing. Antifreeze, it stops things freezing. My dad's always freezing. Let's do that. You can buy that when the kid's fucking 10, 11, whatever he is. Then it kind of doesn't really translate anymore unless the kid is fucking stupid. Because the innocence isn't there anymore unless he's been particularly fucking mollycoddled and babied and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, but you kind of go along with it and go, you know what? Yeah, fine, whatever.
So then the plan forms very quickly. Our surviving townsfolk decide they're going to get a truck filled with antifreeze.
Yeah,
and the sheriff's
it's the dude earlier on who got sparked out as well.
Who we've already established has all the antifreeze. One thing
I did like actually when they're doing this, because we've established already he's got the salt, he's got the fucking grit, he's got the antifreeze. Excuse me. And the one thing I did like is that normally you do this and you just see them fucking emptying gallons of stuff into the back of a wagon. Yeah, he thinks to put a tarp down first, but it does not piss out the bottom.
Yeah, very.
Look, never do you see that in films.
Again,
there is a
lot of thought gone into this. There really is. And the reality of that is because they actually had to fill that truck with a load of liquid. So if they didn't do that,
kept on pissing out the bottom.
Yeah, there's a reality of it, but it's real.
But it works on screen. It works.
It works. Yeah. So the sheriff's got to kind of lure him then to get him into the truck, and then as if the payoff with the oatmeal wasn't good enough, the fucking snowman gag pays off. Because he could say anything to him to get his attention, but he doesn't. What does he use? Hey, Jack, what's the difference between snowmen and snow women? Snowballs. Brilliant. We seeded it earlier on.
And again,
twice, in fact.
I was going to say that this seems to be a rule of three thing going on, where they do seed everything twice and then pay it off. It works really well.
Because that's the rule. It exists for a reason. Because the first time,
it's generally not used that much in films. I've got to be honest. I mean, certainly in the last 20 years, you don't see it that much. You see it a lot. You still see it a lot in literature.
Yeah.
You still see a lot in theatre. You don't see a lot of it in film anymore because a lot of filmmakers assume that audiences are either lazy or not going to pay attention.
Look, we talk about this shit all the time on Game of Moans, and there is a reason why these rules exist. And you're right. A lot of films, let's be frank, a lot of films these days are poorly fucking written and poorly made. Simples, because all they're after is throw a load of special effects in, throw an A-lister in, and people will go and watch it. And that's not me being bitter. Look, I pay my good fucking monies to go and see them as well. All right, so I'm part of the problem. That's not a dig in any way, shape, or form. But the fact of the matter is, the rule of three works.
Yeah, it's a literary device that's worked for fucking centuries.
Yes, yeah, because the first time it just kind of washes over you. The second time you remember it subconsciously, even you go, that guy said that before. Oh, okay, yeah. So when the third time comes in, you go, yeah. You're kind of almost expecting it by the time the third time rolls around. So excellent, really, really good stuff. There's a bit of a chase sequence again, really well done, where he's running through the fucking it's like a hotel or something, isn't it? That he's running through.
I was trying to look at what it was, but then he's opening all the doors, and it's like, oh, was that your husband? And just little fucking gags like that.
Yeah, really, really funny.
Works really well.
Frosty corners him, does the fucking icicle thing again.
Yeah, now this is one thing I don't get right. So they do the icicle thing, and then you get I can't remember what his name was. I think his name was Paul. I might be wrong, but whatever his name was, he comes out outside. Here's Paul. He comes out, he beeps to signify he's outside the fucking window, which we've seen earlier on. There's a window at the edge of this hotel. So he's there, and Sam has been impaled with a fucking icicle. We presume through the heart, because that's what Jack's talking about, looking through the heart. And he's talking about getting his wife and all the rest of it. And all of a sudden, Sam's not in pain anymore.
He makes it. I've written it.
A fucking Lazarean recovery.
Miraculous recovery.
He's like a fucking Colombian striker in the '94 World Cup when they weren't allowed water breaks. It's like seriously. He's like, go down like you get shot. Go off on a stretcher, come back on when you've had a fucking sip of orange juice. It was like that. He was also, but you'll know, whatever the line was, he's like, I think it was like the cavalry or something like that. It's like, and then he fucking drives him out that fucking window. Now, A, how has he got the strength to do that when he's got a fucking icicle through the heart?
Mm-hmm.
B, how is he move? No, how can he move that well and talk that clearly when he should be fucking internally bleeding? C, how doesn't the fucking antifreeze going into that wound kill the bastard?
True. Yeah.
I mean, I got a fucking paper cut on my knuckle, and then I was cleaning something the other day with rubbing alcohol, and fuck me, that hurt for about a month. It's like, it fucking kills, and that was a tiny wound on my knuckle.
I was thinking that as well, as he's fucking wrestling with Frosty in the antifreeze, and he's selling it really fucking well.
Oh yeah, he really is.
Like they really do well where he's wrestling with Jack in the antifreeze, but. The bit I don't understand is why he had to stab, because he makes this miraculous recovery, but he didn't have to stab him through the heart. It would have been enough just to have the tension of the icicle coming towards him. And what would have been even better and more heroic if it was just above the heart, if it was in the shoulder or something like that.
Yeah, and or below it in the gut, which is going to fucking hurt more. Yeah, take longer to kill him.
Yeah, right. And he's just about there. He hasn't penetrated through yet, but he just about has. Then the horn's there, and then he has to impale himself to drive him out through the window.
Well, that's like even if he's broken skin and there's a fucking little bit of blood or something.
Yeah.
Just something to really sell it. And as you say, he's got to drive it then. So all of a sudden he's got to push himself into that.
Yes.
It's going to take Jack by surprise. So he's going to lean into it as well, which will fucking push it in further and make it harder for him to do. It's more of a sacrifice. And then at that point, you don't know if he's coming out that fucking antifreeze.
No.
That's your fucking hero bit.
Yeah, and then you could even have played that for a minute or two then as well. They can go under the antifreeze, give it a few seconds, then he can come up with a big gasp of breath, holding Jack under. Yeah. Then they have their fucking fight.
And I love the bit with the arm as well.
Yeah. Oh, genius. Yeah. I because again, it's like you see it happen, and because horror movie tropes as well, you see the fucking arm fall by the side of the truck. Now in my head, I'm thinking, okay, the arm's there because he'll reform from that.
Yeah, he'll grow off the arm.
Yeah. But no, they bring it back immediately.
Yeah, and the arm just fucking wraps around the kid's head. Amazing.
Jesus, it's genius.
It's brilliant. So then they do the bit where they drag the kid up in the antifreeze. Again, what could have had more of an image of them fucking ducking the kid? I don't know. Again, make a fucking issue with the kid. If he's afraid of his own shadow at the start.
Yeah.
So make a thing with him being fucking I don't know, afraid of drowning or some shit. Give him something where again he has to confront his fear. Sam is confronting his by taking on the serial killer. Make the kid confront his, and then he comes up out of the fucking antifreeze, and all's well with the world.
Yeah.
So I mean that could as it is, it's fine. But then the bit I was talking about earlier. So they all rush there. So when Sam comes out of the fucking antifreeze for the second time, they all rush him with the kid. They all rush over and they're fucking hugging and all the rest of it. And the priest is just stroking him on the shoulder. He's not patting him on the back. He's stroking his fucking shoulder. It's like Gary Glitter at a fucking kindergarten.
I clocked this as well. I haven't written it down because I just thought, nah. But if you've clocked it as well, then
it's like you just went a fucking good slap on the back or something. Just fucking even especially the point where he's fucking hurt anyway. A good fucking whack on the back or something to really sell that. But no, he's fucking stroking him on the shoulder like he's on a fucking date or something.
That's intentional, isn't it?
I was like, fucking hell.
That's got to be intentional. They're on a fucking laugh for that. They've got
either that or there's so fucking little direction. The guys are going, what am I doing?
No, they're playing for that. They've got to.
It wouldn't be anybody but the priest, would it?
No.
Especially in the 90s.
Yeah. So we get the great fucking wrestling match with fucking Snowman. He comes back, throw him in the antifreeze, and then we get like the perfect horror movie ending. Tropey is all fuck, but of course they bottle up the antifreeze and they bury it on consecrated ground because of course they do, because then later on down the line a dog can come and piss on the consecrated ground or whatever. We haven't seen the sequel yet. Probably gonna keep that for next Christmas. This is how things go. I mean, okay, this is how Nightmare on Elm Street goes anyway. Dog pisses on the consecrated ground and fucking gets fried or whatever, and then sooner or later some idiot's going to dig him up for a housing development or something, aren't they?
Yeah.
Fine.
Maybe they need to build a fourth house in Snowman.
Yeah, I'm well up for watching more Jack Frost, I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting to like this. I was expecting to enjoy it, and I was expecting us to have our usual, we tend to look at like there's three types of films we look at on this show, aren't there? There are films which are knowingly ridiculous and bad. Yes. Then there are films which should be better than they are. And then there are those which are just fucking awful.
Yeah.
And I expected this to fall into the first camp. I expected this to be just kind of so ridiculous and so bad that it's good. What I didn't expect was for it to be actually good. And it is. And reading a lot of the reviews that you get on Metacritic and IMDb and stuff like that, it seems like a lot of people are shitting in its mouth. And I suspect that those people actually haven't watched it because this was a lot of that. Good.
I mean, it's one of those, again, it's achieved cult following over the years, whereby people who've actually sat down and gone, really? That's what this film is? Fucking hell.
It works. All of it works. It's weirdly paced, as you say, because that first half and that second half don't quite gel. It's on,
and that's like there are individual scenes which are fucking off-paced as well.
Yep. So they don't quite gel, but everything that's there works. That's the crucial thing, is that narratively, you have to take some leaps, but look, it's a film about a fucking demonic snow.
Well, that's it. So, I mean, it's that sort of film where you can take those leaps quite understandably, because it's not Citizen Kane. It's not a fucking legal drama. It's not a war film. It's a fucking fantasy about a killer snowman.
Yeah, so suspension of disbelief. You have to suspend things like, he went on a killing spree before he went after the sheriff, but he is a serial killer.
Yeah,
and for everything that doesn't quite work, there is a but. And as I say, several times they literally point it out within the next minute or so. I pick up on something and go, "Hang on a minute," and then they explain it.
Yeah, and then okay.
It is pretty fucking tight. This. I'm hesitant to say watertight. I'm not sure it's quite that together, but it is pretty fucking tight.
It's pretty good. It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
I've just found out, by the way, why the snow is sort of constantly disappearing. It was filmed in California. That fucking haven of snow.
I mean, look, they probably you work with what you got. They're probably all from California or something. So you work with what you got.
It was filmed at Big Bear Lake in San Bernardino Mountains. So it's a snow-fed lake, but it's just when they did it, it was obviously they filmed in the middle of fucking summer
because the light's better. It makes sense. Like it's a low budget film, and
I take it. It's one of those you think, well, it's not the fucking end of the world. It doesn't. I mean, the appearing and disappearing snow doesn't affect your enjoyment of it.
No, and a lot of times we say on this show, part of the reason why, especially with the higher budget films that we look at, part of the reason we get so angry with them is just the fucking carelessness that goes on with things like this. And they're like, you had enough money to know better.
Well, that's it. Somebody would have been fucking paid to pick these things up.
Yes, and I feel like when you're working at this level, I am a lot more forgiving of things. I think we all are.
You have to be, don't you?
Yeah, and things like that, you just go, yeah, right, guys, fine. Because narratively, this works. The performances are all good. The effects are pretty fucking good as well. Like, to be fair,
and that's it. I mean, I think you always tend to get a bit more forgiveness on these because people will respect the fact that you've gone out and put something out, but you didn't have fucking tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, you
didn't have a studio behind you. You didn't have a name to sell it on. I mean, this was Shannon Elizabeth's first film, so even saying Shannon Elizabeth is a name 2 years after this.
Yeah,
there's nobody selling this fucking movie.
No, until much like what happened with Leprechaun as well, when Jennifer Aniston hit. I do remember this being sold as having Shannon Elizabeth in it. I'd say I remembered it, just I know I never watched it.
Yeah, I think over here it appeared about 2003, didn't it? I think they'd done the first 2 American Pies by then. Most
likely, yeah. But I think a lot of times then when we do look at stuff like this, even if it does, something like Leprechaun does go on to have famous people in it and stuff like that. When it's this low budget, we cut it a lot of slack anyway.
Yeah.
But for it to then actually be really fucking good, and it is. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this and will watch it again more than once. I can tell you. I think this is well worth 90 odd minutes of anyone's fucking time.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's as good a fucking horror film as I've seen all year. If I'm perfectly, for the type of, let's be clear on that as well. This isn't fucking full of suspense. This is creature feature. This is a fucking mutant demonic snowman.
Yeah.
Fucking raping people with carrots. So let's bear that in mind.
Yeah.
But for what it is, it's full of holiday cheer as far as I'm concerned. It's got the Christmas carols, it's got the jingly bells, it's got the sparkling lights, it's got the snowman, it's got the fucking drunken fighting, it's got everything you want from a good holiday tale.
It's got what you need, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean the sequel as well, looking at the just looking at the information about the sequel is Jack Frost 2 Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. If ever there was a name that's on the fucking nose,
yeah,
why not?
Oh, I mean, we won't give it away to the listeners, but I sent you the most on the nose fucking name that came up on my Amazon recommendations after watching this.
You did.
We'll dig into that one next year. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll go on the list for next year. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those you think, well, no, you kind of take it, and I mean, again, the plot is ludicrous. It follows the killer snowman Jack Frost, who's resurrected and travels to a tropical cabana to kill the man responsible for his death.
Oh, so the sheriff's going to be in it again?
Yeah, sheriff's in it again. Marla's in it again. His wife is in it again.
It's more Marla. I'm in.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you go with it, don't you? So again, it's a snowman on a tropical island.
So
of course, it's going to be fucking insane.
It's not a Christmas film then. At this point. Okay, so maybe we hit that one up in the summer.
Maybe
we do Christmas in July. Let's.
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that to me this week, because Christmas is fucking, it's looking like it's going to be like the rest of the fucking year.
Well, yeah, because 2020 is a fucking bag of dicks, isn't it? But what can you do?
Well, some people like bags of dicks, apparently,
Never had one, so don't really know.
I just remember on Big Mouth that the hormone monster had a bag of dicks.
Oh, had a bag. Yeah, he has they're quite cute. Yeah. Yes, he's got a bag of little cute pet dicks. Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? Fucking.
It's Maurice, isn't it?
Maurice, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I would say Morty, but I knew it wasn't.
I think it's Maurice. Anyway.
It is Maurice, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it knows what it is. I think that's the main thing.
It absolutely knows what it is. Yeah.
It knows what it is, and it's happy with that. It just plays to that.
And I have a lot of time for. like I said, I write them all the fucking time because they're fun. Right?
Exactly, and that's the thing.
Fucking fun.
I mean, you can guarantee the guy writing this, and they go, no, when they're on set making this, there's nobody thinking, oh fucking hell, no, it's another day.
No, they're having a blast.
They're having a fucking riot.
Yeah, and you know what this demonstrates, which is really fucking important, actually. And you know, comparatively, then when you compare it to your fucking Mario's and your Battlefield Earths and everything else, which is kind of what this show is about. What this demonstrates is the absolute most ludicrous, ridiculous idea can still be fucking good if you put the work in, if you're critical of yourself. You know, they went back and reshot. And if everybody cares and everybody pulls together on it, there is no excuse when you've got all the fucking money and all the talent to put out the kind of shit that we generally look at on this show.
Yeah.
When you can do this with such a ridiculous concept and no money and it all works. Fucking hats off to these guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, as I know, it's a testament to the fact they got something out, and that's the most. When you've got no money, that's the fucking thing. You produced something. You made a product. There's something to show for it.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. And yeah, okay, this went straight to video, and it was fucking panned for years. But 23 years later, it's got a massive cult following. It spawned a sequel, which I think made money. I'm not entirely sure. I can't find the page now. I've just closed it, but I think the sequel made a bit of money. But regardless of that, the guy went on to make a fucking $30 million movie the following year.
There you go.
He went on to do Identity the year after the sequel. Yeah. Shannon Elizabeth went on to do 3 American Pie films, and God knows what else she did. This. When you have a product that people believe in, it doesn't matter if it's crass. It doesn't matter if it's fucking creepy. It doesn't matter if it's not Citizen Kane. People will put their all into it because it's something they want to do.
Yes.
And I think there's far more to be said for that than there is of somebody getting paid fucking $15 million to make a movie, turning up on set for 3 months and then not fucking thinking about it until the press tour.
Absolutely.
These people will have these people will have lived and breathed this. And then when it finished and they went into edits and all the rest of it, they probably thought they'd never see it again.
Yeah. What it has is soul. And soul is a chemical, Mark. I didn't know if you were aware of this.
Somebody mentioned it. I can't remember who.
There's a fucking lot to unpack just in that fucking section of the story. Like,
yeah,
I feel like this needs about another
right
5 or 6 fucking sequels because there's all sorts of shit you can jump on with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've made our thoughts abundantly clear, but we have to ask, don't we?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I know.
Is it better than Mario? There you
fucking
go.
Infinitely.
Yeah,
fucking infinitely. I mean, it's more fun. It's sillier. It knows what it is, and so it's more honest. And yeah, I think I would if you put the two in front of me, and one's on Prime and one I own, having bought it to start this podcast, I would put this on every fucking time. I would put the sequel on without having seen it. If it's at least the first time, having not seen it and not know what it's about, I would choose the sequel over Mario as well, just to see if it's got the same fucking heart to it.
I 100% agree. I had a whale of a time with this. I will definitely be watching it again in the future, probably next Christmas. If not before, because it was a laugh riot. If we're going to do the sequel, I might stick it on for the sequel. I would go as far as to say it's in the top percentage of films that we've watched on this podcast.
Yeah,
for me,
it's
I mean, it's not as good as Killer Clowns, but it's up there in those upper
on
echelons.
I think.
I don't know if it's Killer Clowns level, but it's up there in that upper echelon with Killer Clowns.
I would put them on the same I would put them on the same platform. I'd say that if you say pick 3 that we've done, those 2 would certainly be in it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I say, I'm not
sure what the third
one
would be, mind.
Maybe Rubber. I'm not
Rubber.
Sure entirely what our catalogue is now. We've done that many.
No, we're burning through now. I can't remember. Let's see if I can find it. But
I'm pretty
certainly not Phantom Menace.
Not Phantom Menace, not Battlefield Earth, not any of them. I mean, Suicide Squad, but
Suicide Squad maybe.
That's not a popular choice, I'm aware. But
yeah, Elves was pretty good last Christmas.
This was way better than Elves.
This was way better than Elves. I'll tell you one thing: it's not going to be on that fucking list. It's 365 Days.
No, that's down the bottom. Yeah, I think this goes at least
This stacks up.
At least into the top 5, I would say, of stuff that we've watched. Now,
apologies to anybody watching the video who just had 2 minutes at the top of my head, by the way, while I was looking on my phone. You see how little fucking hair I've got.
Well, no, it's fine because the band of your headphones covers it. These are good. It's also why I don't have to do my hair to come on this fucking show because I just put my headphones on. They're great.
I should be wearing a fucking hat by now. My hair's
I don't know why I tapped my head there. And I just did it again as well because that fucking hurts my ears. Where was I was saying something before we started talking about your fucking bald spot? Oh yes.
Sorry.
It's probably in the top 5, maybe the top 3. But before everybody starts jumping on my fucking dick about recommending stuff like this and saying this, I'm not talking about my favorite fucking films of all time.
No,
we're talking about the
18
worst films possible to look at, and in amongst that, this is really fucking good. So I can't recommend this enough. Definitely better than Mario. And definitely one of the best, for my money, one of the best things we've done to date.
Yeah, I said I think we're pushing episode 20. I can't remember what number this is, but we're at that point where we've done quite a few of these now, and I mean this is right up there for me.
Yeah, definitely. So seek it out, listeners.
Yeah, definitely.
It's on Amazon Prime. So
go for it.
Give it a watch. It's like
just don't watch the Michael Keaton one by mistake because that's fucking heartbreaking.
Which is what we were originally going to do, and maybe that's one for next year now. I don't know.
Maybe.
That is pretty fucking poor.
Pretty fucking poor. But yeah, maybe you disagree with us, or maybe you've seen this and think it's a pile of wank. In which case, let us know. As always, you can get in touch on Twitter at ddpodcastnet, via our website ddpodcast.net, where you can get our previous episodes and also our other shows. Wherever you get your podcasts from, be it iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Amazon Music, wherever else we're listed. Seek us out. Search for Better Than Mario Brothers. On YouTube, we're doing video now as well, just because we've got fuck all better to do in lockdown. So I spend like hours editing videos that people don't watch. But give us a look. We're the Double Down Podcast Network on there. But until next time.
Merry Christmas, listeners, and wherever you are, please remember to stay safe and watch out for killer snowmen. And we'll see you in hopefully a much brighter 2021. See you later.